At the heart of every legend, there's a story so unbelievable it blurs the line between myth and reality. Cristiano Ronaldo's journey wasn't just about talent, it was about a ruthless obsession with greatness that turned a poor boy from Madeira into the most talked-about footballer in history. From defying doctors who said his heart would end his career before it even began, to dominating the world stage while his personal life exploded across the tabloids, Ronaldo's life is a swirling storm of ambition, controversy, and relentless reinvention. But what does it really take to stay on top of the world for 2 decades straight? The truth behind Cristiano Ronaldo is more dramatic, raw, and shocking than anyone ever dared to imagine. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on February 5, 1985, in the picturesque, yet economically struggling island of Madeira, Portugal. The fourth and youngest child of a working-class family, Ronaldo's early life wasn't glamorous footballer fairy tale many imagine. His father, José Denis Aveiro, worked as a gardener, while his mother, Maria Dolores, was a cook. But what made their humble home different from the thousands of others on the island wasn't just the modest means, it was the burning desire in young Cristiano's heart. From a very early age, he showed an obsession with football that was beyond normal. While most kids were playing in the streets, Ronaldo was already practicing his footwork, kicking balls against walls, and making goals with whatever he could find. But the odds were stacked against him. He wasn't born with the easy grace of a natural talent. It was hard work, sweat, and a desire to escape his circumstances that pushed him forward. And when other kids had stopped playing and gone home, Ronaldo stayed out, relentlessly perfecting his craft. There was a fire in him that no one could quite understand. It wasn't just about winning, it was about survival. Football wasn't a game for Cristiano, it was his way out, his one shot at breaking free from the cycle of poverty, a dream that would take him far from his small town to the world stage, but also one that would exact a price. But even as he began to shine on the local football scene, life wasn't going to hand him a free pass. In fact, it nearly took it all away. Ronaldo was just 15 years old when he was diagnosed with a heart condition so severe that it threatened to end his career before it even started. A problem that could have been fatal, leaving him with nothing but what-ifs. Doctors told him he had to stop playing football. His body simply couldn't handle the stress. It was a moment that could break any young athlete. But not Ronaldo. He didn't let the diagnosis crush his dreams. Instead, he took it as a challenge. He underwent emergency heart surgery that seemed almost miraculous in its success, and like everything in his life, he came out of it even stronger. It wasn't just a physical battle, it was mental warfare. To come back from that kind of setback at such a young age required more than skill. It required an unshakable belief that his destiny was bigger than any doctor's diagnosis. It was after that brush with death that Ronaldo's relentless focus on football began to crystallize. At the age of 12, he moved away from his family, leaving Madeira behind to join Sporting CP in Lisbon. It was a move that would make or break him, and Cristiano wasn't going to be the one who failed. Training at Sporting's academy wasn't easy. He was just a boy from a small island trying to make it in a professional environment filled with elite athletes. But there was something about him that made people sit up and take notice. His work ethic was nothing short of obsessive. He wasn't just another talented player, he was a player who demanded perfection from himself. While others rested, Ronaldo worked. But even in the youth academy, his brash confidence and hunger for success were apparent. It wasn't enough to just make the team. He wanted to dominate it. He wanted to be the best, and he made sure everyone knew it. And it wasn't long before he caught the attention of bigger clubs, including one that would change his life forever. At 18, Ronaldo's hard work and raw talent had finally paid off. When Manchester United came calling in 2003, offering a transfer worth £24 million, a then record for a teenager, it was a defining moment. Ronaldo was about to enter the biggest football stage on the planet, and it was a stage where the stakes were far higher than what he'd left behind in Portugal. Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager of United, was the man who took the risk on this young prodigy. Many were skeptical about his ability to perform in England's cutthroat Premier League. Ronaldo had the flair, the pace, and the ability to dazzle. But could he handle the pressure? Could he handle the spotlight? It didn't take long for Ronaldo to prove the doubters wrong. His dazzling skills, that combination of flair, speed, and power, earned him instant fame. He didn't just play for Manchester United. He became a symbol of the club's ambition. The adulation came quickly, but so did the harsh ambition. The adulation came quickly, but so did the harsh criticism. As much as fans loved his goals, they also criticized his showboating, his sometimes reckless style of play. Off the pitch, the tabloids were already circling. Ronaldo wasn't just a player, he was a commodity. His personal life became a focal point of gossip, from his relationships to his wild partying and his ever-expanding celebrity circle. But even as his fame grew, so did his determination to be the best. By 2008, Cristiano Ronaldo had evolved into something more than just a footballer. He was a global icon. That year, he achieved what many thought was impossible for a young player. He won the prestigious Ballon d'Or, cementing his place as one of the best in the world. His explosive rise coincided with Manchester United's resurgence, as they dominated English football and captured the UEFA Champions League trophy. But Ronaldo wasn't content with just being the best player on his team. He was already thinking about how to become the best player in the world, the best player ever, and that wasn't just about goals. It was about the brand he was building. It was about the legacy. Ronaldo was carefully crafting his empire, one goal, one endorsement, one headline at a time. In 2009, after years of dazzling the world at Manchester United, Ronaldo made the biggest move of his career, a record-breaking transfer to Real Madrid for a staggering £80 million. It was a decision that would change the course of football history forever. For Ronaldo, this wasn't just a new chapter, it was a new life. In Spain, the expectations were higher than anything he had ever faced. Real Madrid wasn't just any club, it was the club, the home of legends, the pinnacle of football, and Cristiano wasn't just there to play, he was there to dominate, to conquer. The transition wasn't smooth. As he arrived at Madrid, he faced not only pressure from fans and media, but also the reality of playing in a club with a history that sometimes felt too big to carry. He was the new face of the club, expected to deliver from the start, but it wasn't just about goals. It was about trophies, fame, and personal glory. And as the media chewed over his every move, the tension between him and his teammates began to simmer. Ronaldo was often seen as the lone wolf, the outsider who didn't quite fit in with the collective mentality of the team. Yet, Ronaldo thrived. He scored goals at an unprecedented rate, breaking records one after the other. But the biggest clash came when he found himself locked in a bitter rivalry with none other than Lionel Messi, Barcelona's golden boy. The footballing world was suddenly divided into two camps, with fans taking sides in the greatest sporting debate of the 20th century, Ronaldo versus Messi. Every match became an epic showdown. Every goal was scrutinized. Every win or loss felt personal. But through it all, Ronaldo emerged with one clear goal: to be the best. And he made sure. The world saw it. But it wasn't just the footballing battles that captured headlines. Ronaldo's personal life became even more of a spectacle. His relationships, his family, and his lifestyle. Every detail was relentlessly pursued by the paparazzi. His rumored affairs, his high-profile love interests, and even his carefully curated image of perfection were all dissected under a magnifying glass. Yet, Ronaldo didn't flinch. He continued to chase greatness with the same fire, all while keeping his private life tightly under wraps. Cristiano Ronaldo was no longer just a footballer. He had become a machine, an unstoppable force. His training was legendary, his dedication unparalleled. While other players took rest days, Ronaldo would be found in the gym or on the pitch, perfecting his craft. He didn't just train to stay in shape, he trained to be better than everyone else. Every session was an opportunity to outwork the competition, to push himself to the limits. His physical transformation over the years was extraordinary. Known for his chiseled physique, Ronaldo wasn't born with the kind of natural athleticism that people often associate with elite athletes. He built his body through a strict regimen of workouts, diet, and mental toughness. His abs, his strength, his stamina, they weren't the result of chance. They were the result of relentless, obsessive work. But it wasn't just about the body. It was about the mind. Ronaldo's mental fortitude was just as impressive as his physical one. From his early years, he had learned that to survive in football, he had to outthink, outlast, and outplay everyone, and he did. His fierce self-belief and unyielding desire to be the best made him a true competitor. His confidence bordered on arrogance at times, but that's what drove him to take on challenges that others would shy away from, whether it was taking a penalty in the final moments of a match or making a key play in a high-pressure game. Ronaldo's mentality was simple: failure was not an option. In the midst of his footballing dominance, Ronaldo's personal life was anything but ordinary. It seemed like he was constantly surrounded by paparazzi, with his relationships, family, and love life becoming the subject of tabloid frenzy. But perhaps the most publicized part of his life was his fatherhood. In 2010, Ronaldo became a father for the first time. His son, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., was born, but the identity of the mother was kept a secret. The mystery surrounding his son's birth added yet another layer to Ronaldo's already carefully curated public persona. In a world where privacy is a luxury few can afford, Ronaldo chose to control what he could. His son would grow up in the spotlight, but Ronaldo's carefully constructed image would protect him from the invasive glare of the media. But while Ronaldo kept some aspects of his personal life under wraps, the media was obsessed with his relationships. His high-profile romances, his rumored affairs, and his on-again, off-again relationships were scrutinized at every turn. Yet, in interviews he remained cool and collected, insisting that football was his first love, and that he wouldn't allow anything, not even fame, to distract him from his ultimate goal, becoming the greatest footballer the world had ever seen. In 2018, after 9 years at Real Madrid, Ronaldo made the shocking decision to leave the Spanish giants and join Juventus in Italy. For many, this move was as much a surprise as it was a gamble. Was this the end of Ronaldo's reign as the world's best player? Was his career already in decline? Or was this a calculated risk, a move to prove that he could succeed in any league, in any country? Ronaldo wasted no time silencing the doubters. He scored goals, won trophies, and proved that his greatness wasn't tied to any one club or country. But even as he excelled on the pitch, the drama continued. His relationship with Juventus was strained at times, with the club's own internal battles and shifting fortunes causing tension. Ronaldo, however, was undeterred. He kept his eyes on the prize, chasing another Champions League title and adding to his growing collection of records. But despite his individual success, Juventus began to struggle. The team failed to secure the Champions League, and questions started to arise about Ronaldo's long-term future at the club. It wasn't long before rumors swirled that he was looking for a new challenge. After 3 years in Italy, Cristiano Ronaldo shocked the football world once again. In 2021, he made his emotional return to Manchester United. The move was met with a mix of excitement and skepticism. Was this the legendary return of the prodigal son, or was it a desperate attempt to relive past glories? For United fans, the return of Ronaldo felt like a full-circle moment, a reunion with the club's greatest modern-day icon, but reality quickly set in. Ronaldo was no longer the sprightly 20-year-old winger he had been when he first left Manchester for Madrid. He was a seasoned veteran with a few more miles on his legs and the weight of his immense legacy hanging over him. The world was watching, waiting to see if he could still perform at the same level, or if age had finally caught up with him. And while Ronaldo still showed flashes of brilliance, the team around him wasn't the powerhouse it used to be. United struggled, and the pressure mounted on Ronaldo to lead them back to the top. It wasn't just about scoring goals anymore. The media was now scrutinizing his every move. Was his ego too big for the team? Did his return disrupt the locker room? Was he still the force he once was? The answers to these questions weren't easy. Ronaldo continued to deliver on the pitch, but it was clear that Manchester United was in disarray. Behind the scenes, there were rumors of tension between Ronaldo and manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, followed by the arrival of new coach Ralf Rangnick. The clash of expectations and internal struggles created an atmosphere where even Ronaldo's leadership could only do so much. His return to Old Trafford didn't unfold like the fairy tale fans had imagined, but instead became a story of reinvention, both for him and for the club itself. Despite his unparalleled success at the club level, there was one major piece of the puzzle missing for Ronaldo: international glory. Over the years he had carried Portugal to new heights, leading them to victory in the 2016 UEFA European Championship and the 2019 UEFA Nations League. But the World Cup, the ultimate prize, continued to elude him. In 2022, the World Cup in Qatar was Ronaldo's final chance to win the coveted trophy. The tournament was set to be his swan song, the culmination of a career that had seen him break records, win trophies, and become a global icon. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Ronaldo's World Cup campaign was filled with drama, both on and off the pitch. His relationship with coach Fernando Santos became increasingly strained, especially after being benched for Portugal's crucial knockout games. The world watched as the once unstoppable Ronaldo struggled with frustration and disappointment. The golden opportunity to cap off his career with a World Cup victory slipped through his fingers. Portugal was eliminated in the quarterfinals, and Ronaldo's dream of World Cup glory was shattered. For many, this moment symbolized the end of an era. The world had witnessed the greatest player of his generation, but time had finally caught up with him. Ronaldo's World Cup heartbreak was a stark reminder that even the greatest can't escape the inevitable decline of age. Throughout his career, Cristiano Ronaldo had always been in the spotlight, not just for his footballing genius, but also for his personal life. From his high-profile relationships to his lavish lifestyle, he was a favorite subject for the paparazzi. The media obsession with him was relentless, and for most of his career, he played the game of celebrity as much as he played football. But as the years went by, the narrative started to shift. Ronaldo, once the darling of the press, found himself in an increasingly adversarial relationship with the media. His every move was now under intense scrutiny, and he had no qualms about firing back at journalists who criticized him. His fiery personality and unapologetic confidence led to a series of public feuds, with reporters often on the receiving end of his sharp tongue. Perhaps the most infamous media battle was in 2019, when Ronaldo sued the newspaper The Sun over false claims about his private life. It was just one of many instances where he fought to protect his image, but it also highlighted a darker side of fame: the price of being one of the world's most famous athletes. Ronaldo's relationship with the press became a complicated dance of mutual distrust. While he continued to be one of the most marketable athletes in the world, his reputation was often tangled in controversy. Yet, his fierce defense of his brand, his family, and his legacy only added to the mystique of the man who seemed untouchable. In 2023, at the age of 38, Cristiano Ronaldo made yet another shocking move. He signed with Al Nassr, a Saudi Arabian club, in a deal worth an eye-watering sum. The move raised eyebrows worldwide. Was this the final chapter in Ronaldo's career, or was it just another stop in his relentless pursuit of greatness? For many, the move to Saudi Arabia symbolized the end of his time at the top of European football. The world was used to seeing Ronaldo in the Champions League, battling the best of Europe. But now he was playing in a lesser-known league, far from the bright lights of Madrid, Manchester, and Turin. Critics quickly began to label the move as a cash grab, a step down in Ronaldo's illustrious career. However, Ronaldo's determination to succeed remained unwavering. Even in Saudi Arabia, he showed flashes of the brilliance that had made him famous. He continued to score goals, break records, and show the world that, despite his age, he was still a force to be reckoned with. His decision to move to Al Nassr wasn't just about football, it was about leaving a legacy. He wanted to leave his mark on a new chapter of football, and in doing so, he became a global ambassador for the sport in the Middle East. As Ronaldo's career winds down, the question remains: how will history remember him? For many, Cristiano Ronaldo is a footballing legend, a player who redefined the sport and set the bar impossibly high for future generations. His records, his trophies, and his impact on the game are undeniable. But, as with all legends, there's a darker side to the story. Ronaldo's career has been filled with controversies, rivalries, and personal battles. His relentless pursuit of greatness sometimes led to clashes with teammates, managers, and even the media. His ego, while often the driving force behind his success, has also been a source of criticism. But whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Cristiano Ronaldo's place in football history is secured. He is, without a doubt, one of the greatest footballers to ever play the game. His legacy isn't just about the records he broke or the titles he broke, it's about the example he set. The world watched as he turned passion into perfection, as he transformed himself from a young boy in Madeira into a global icon. So what's next for Cristiano Ronaldo? At 38, he is closer to the end of his career than the beginning. but don't expect him to go quietly into the night. Ronaldo is a man who has always defied expectations. Whether he chooses to retire or continue playing, his legacy will live on not just as a footballer, but as a symbol of determination, self-belief, and the power of reinvention. Ronaldo has said time and again that he wants to play until he's 40, and maybe even beyond. But regardless of how much longer he stays on the field, one thing is certain. Cristiano Ronaldo has already cemented his place as one of the greatest sports figures of all time. The question now is not if he will be remembered, but how. As for his final chapter, the world is watching and waiting for the next act in the life of the legend that is Cristiano Ronaldo.